Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me Saira Mujtaba with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates and lays foundation stone for multiple projects worth around 18,000 crore rupees in Dehradun. President Ramnath Kovind addresses centenary celebration of Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, says the committee upholds prudence, wisdom and propriety in parliamentary system. Home Minister Amit Shah to meet BSF personnel and review security situation in Rajasthan. Government aims to achieve defence export target of 35,000 crore rupees by 2024-25, says Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. India-Russia joint venture set to give a big boost to self-reliance in defence. Manufacturing of over 5 lakh AK-203 rifles to start at Amethi in Uttar Pradesh. Over 126 crore 53 lakh doses of COVID vaccines administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 98.35%. In cricket, India were bowled out for 325 in their first innings against New Zealand in the Mumbai Test match. In BWF World Tour Badminton Finals, PV Sindhu is playing Japan's Akane Yamaguchi in the women's singles semi-final match. In men's singles, India's Lakshya Sen to play Danish player Victor Axelsen in a round match. In FIH Hockey Men's Junior World Cup, Germany to face Argentina in Sunday's final, while India to take on France for the bronze medal in Bhubaneswar. As India marches towards administering 150 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, news about the new corona variant is a cause for concern. In this situation, we appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and help others get vaccinated. Please continue to follow these 3 simple steps to stay safe. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate and lay the foundation stone for multiple projects worth around 18,000 crore rupees in Dehradun, Uttarakhand, in a short while from now. The Prime Minister will also address a rally in Dehradun. Mr. Modi will lay the foundation stone of 11 development projects. This includes the Delhi-Dehradun Economic Corridor, which will be built at a cost of around 8,300 crore rupees. It will significantly reduce the travel time from Delhi to Dehradun from 6 hours to around 2.5 hours. It will have Asia's largest wildlife elevated corridor of 12 kilometers for unrestricted wildlife movement. The Delhi-Dehradun Economic Corridor will also have arrangements for rainwater harvesting at intervals of 500 meters and over 400 water recharge points. The Greenfield Alignment Project from Delhi-Dehradun Economic Corridor connecting Halgoa-Saharanpur to Bhadrabad-Haridwar will be constructed at a cost of over 2,000 crore rupees. It will provide seamless connectivity and reduce travel time from Delhi to Haridwar as well. The Dehradun Paonta Sahib Himachal Pradesh road project to be constructed at a cost of around 1,700 crore rupees will reduce travel time and provide seamless connectivity between the two places. It will also boost interstate tourism. A bridge across River Ganga next to the Lakshman Jhula will also be constructed. The world-renowned Lakshman Jhula was constructed in 1929 but has now been closed due to decreased load-carrying capacity. President Ramnath Kovind has said the Public Accounts Committee, PAC, upholds prudence, wisdom and propriety in the parliamentary system. Addressing the centenary celebration of Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, Mr. Kovind said Gandhiji considered account keeping as essential for clean public life.
Gandhiji considered account keeping as essential to a clean public life as cleanliness is in social life. The PAC has lived up to such lofty ideals and expectations. Its record over the decades has been commendable and exemplary.
Mr. Kovind underlined that the philosophy of public accounts has not changed from the time of Kautilya.
Numbers and figures keep changing, and so do bookkeeping methods. But the philosophy of public accounts has not changed from the time of Kautilya. In his great treatise, Arthashastra, there is a detailed guidance provided on responsibility of accounts officers. Then there are further points on responsibility of auditors and responsibility of high officials. The chapter ends with a long list of punishments for failure to conform to the regulations.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said PAC reports always strive for improvement in the system. PAC has detected many financial lapses in its glorious work traditions.
Though it is in the nature of working of the PAC to be critical in its approach, we have struck a balance and functioned as a partners with government in the common endeavor of bringing out improvements in the existing system. All these years, PAC has detected many financial irregularities, procedural lapses, executive delays, and even cases of lack of coordination between different government departments. It has also earned a reputation of impartiality, firmness, and grasp of details.
Mr. Naidu also suggested that Parliament should meet 100 days in a year. Speaker Om Birla said this is one of the most important committees of Parliament and complimented the PAC members for their dedication to the cause.
आजादी के जब 75 वर्ष हो रहे हैं तो देश के अंदर कई बदलाव आया है, कई पारदर्शिता आई है और पीएससी के अंदर इसमें विशेष रूप से भूमिका निभाई है। मैं पीएससी के सदस्यों को धन्यवाद देता हूं जो लगातार दलगत से ऊपर उठकर देश हित और राष्ट्र हित में काम करते हैं और आज हमारी प्रगति और उन्नति की आवश्यकताओं को पूरा करने के लिए इन सारी चीजों को पीएससी समिति देखती है।
PAC Chairman Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary said the PAC is committed to uphold transparency and accountability of the government money. He said the committee always acts in an impartial manner.
The PAC is a macrocosm of Parliament as the parties and groups find representation on it largely in proportion to their strength in the House. The committee, however, works on non-party lines with a spirit of dedication and service to the country. This has enabled the committee to function as a united team and adhere to the healthy convention of submitting unanimous reports which truly reflect the non-partisan spirit of the committee.
The President released a special souvenir depicting the 100 glorious years of PAC's journey and 67 special articles, including 15 from Commonwealth countries. Mr. Kovind also inaugurated an exhibition depicting the milestone moments of PAC from 1921 to 2021.
Chief Justice of India, N.V. Ramana, today said that approaching a court should be the last resort in dispute redressal. He suggested that solutions can be arrived at through arbitration and mediation, which will save time and money. Speaking at the curtain raiser and stakeholders conclave of the International Arbitration and Mediation Centre in Hyderabad this morning, the Chief Justice said Hyderabad is the right place to set up an International Arbitration Centre. He said finding a mutually acceptable solution through extensive consultations gained importance, especially in the wake of increasing economic activity and commerce in various sectors. He suggested disputes about anything, including family matters, can be resolved amicably through arbitration and mediation as much as possible. Union Minister for Home and Cooperation, Amit Shah, is embarking on a 2-day tour of Rajasthan this afternoon. He will be reaching Jaisalmer and will spend a night with BSF personnel at a border outpost near the international border. More from our correspondent.
The Home Minister will offer prayers at Tanot Mateswari Temple and then will go to the border outpost. Mr. Shah will meet with BSF personnel guarding the international border in the region and will review the security situation. The Home Minister will closely watch night patrolling being done by BSF personnel and also spend a night with them. Mr. Shah will be chief guest in the 57th Raging Day Parade of the BSF to be celebrated tomorrow morning in Jaisalmer for the first time outside Delhi. After the event, Home Minister will fly to Jaipur. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said that the government's aim is to achieve the defence export target of 35,000 crore rupees by 2024-25. Mr. Singh said promoting Indian exports is the topmost priority of the government. He said India should become a net exporter instead of a net importer. Speaking at the Society of Indian Defence Manufacturers, Mr. Singh said Defence Ministry has approved a central sector scheme for IDEX with a 500 crore rupee budget for the next 5 years from 2021-22 to 2025-26, which will provide financial aid to 300 startups, MSMEs and individual innovators and 20 partner incubators. Now we take you live to the Prime Minister's address in Dehradun.
केंद्रीय मंत्री परिषद के मेरे सहयोगी प्रहलाद जोशी जी, अजय भट्ट जी, उत्तराखंड में मंत्री सतपाल महाराज जी, हरक सिंह रावत जी, राज्य मंत्रिमंडल के अन्य सदस्यगण, संसद में मेरे सहयोगी निशंक जी, तीरथ सिंह रावत जी, अन्य सांसदगण, भाई त्रिवेंद्र सिंह रावत जी, विजय बहुगुणा जी, राज्य विधानसभा के अन्य सदस्य, मेयर श्री, जिला पंचायत के सदस्यगण, भाई मदन कौशिक जी और मेरे प्यारे भाइयों और बहनों, आप सभी इतनी बड़ी संख्या में हमें आशीर्वाद देने आए हैं। आपके स्नेह, आपका आशीर्वाद, ये आशीर्वाद का प्रसाद पाकर हम सभी अभिभूत है। उत्तराखंड पूरी देश की आस्था ही नहीं बल्कि कर्म और कठोरता की भूमि है। इसलिए इस क्षेत्र का विकास, यहां को भव्य स्वरूप देना डबल इंजन की सरकार की सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता है। इसी भावना से सिर्फ बीते 5 वर्षों में उत्तराखंड के विकास के लिए केंद्र सरकार ने 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए से अधिक, 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए से अधिक, 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए से अधिक परियोजनाएं स्वीकृत की हैं।
In the run-up to Russian President Vladimir Putin's upcoming visit to India, All India Radio News has started a series, India-Russia Connect. Today, we bring for our listeners how an India-Russia joint venture is all set to give a big boost to self-reliance in defence. Under the project, over 5 lakh AK-203 rifles will be produced at Amethi in Uttar Pradesh, giving a boost to Make in India and paving the way for Uttar Pradesh to become a defence manufacturing hub of India. A report.
India-Russia partnership in various sectors, especially defence, has grown manifold over the years. In yet another example, the two countries have joined hands to produce over 5 lakh AK-203 assault rifles at Korwa at Amethi in Uttar Pradesh. The project will be implemented by a special purpose joint venture called Indo-Russian Rifles Private Limited. It has been created with the Advanced Weapons and Equipment India Limited and Munitions India Limited from the Indian side and Rosovoron Export and Concern Kalashnikov of Russia. AK-203 assault rifles will enhance the combat potential of soldiers to meet the operational challenges and the increasing effectiveness of counter-insurgency and counter-terrorism operations. The project will provide business opportunities to various MSMEs and other defense industries for supply of raw material and components. It will in turn lead to generation of new employment opportunities. The project marks a significant stride towards making Uttar Pradesh a key contributor in the defense manufacturing prowess of India. Sobhagya, Air News.
Over 126 crore 53 lakh doses of COVID vaccines have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Union Health Ministry today said more than 73,63,000 vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. The ministry said 8,190 COVID patients recovered during the same period, and the recovery rate stands at 98.35%. The country reported 8,603 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. Currently, India's active caseload is 99,974. Mumbai Municipal Corporation has adopted extremely vigilant approach and issued home quarantine guidelines for foreign passengers arriving in Mumbai in the backdrop of the prevailing risk of spread of Omicron variant. The civic body is leaving no stone unturned to monitor the foreign returnees and has made elaborate arrangements to prevent the possible spread of the Omicron variant. A report.
CEO of Mumbai International Airport Limited will send a single-line list of international travellers arriving in Mumbai in the preceding 24 hours to Disaster Management Unit of BMC. This unit will further forward it ward-wise to ward war rooms and medical officer of health. BMC Mayor Kishori Pednekar has said that the BMC is alert about people returning from at-risk countries and it has prepared an action plan for it. Meanwhile, Mumbai Civic Body has said that S-gene tests of 7 COVID-19 infected international passengers have returned negative, suggesting the absence of Omicron variant. Results of 2 others who were also found to be COVID positive are still awaited. Shailesh Patil, AR News, Mumbai.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Kashmir Divisional Commissioner Pandurang Pole took stock of measures put in place for handling of international passengers at Srinagar International Airport to contain the spread of Omicron variant of COVID-19 in the valley. On the occasion, he stressed on conducting RT-PCR test of all international travellers upon their arrival at Srinagar International Airport.
You're listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates and lays foundation stone for multiple projects worth around 18,000 crore rupees in Dehradun. President Ramnath Kovind addresses centenary celebration of Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, says the committee upholds prudence, wisdom and propriety in parliamentary system. Home Minister Amit Shah to meet BSF personnel and review the security situation in Rajasthan. Government aims to achieve defence export target of 35,000 crore rupees by 2024-25, says Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. India-Russia joint venture set to give a big boost to self-reliance in defence. Manufacturing of over 5 lakh AK-203 rifles to start at Amethi in Uttar Pradesh. Over 126 crore 53 lakh doses of COVID vaccines administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 98.35%. In cricket, India were bowled out for 325 in their first innings against New Zealand in the Mumbai Test match. In BWF World Tour Badminton Finals, PV Sindhu is playing Japan's Akane Yamaguchi in women's singles semi-final match. In men's singles, India's Lakshya Sen to play Danish player Victor Axelsen in a round match. In FIH Hockey Men's Junior World Cup, Germany to face Argentina in Sunday's final, while India to take on France for the bronze medal in Bhubaneswar. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back to the Midday News. On the occasion of Foundation Day of Directorate of Revenue Intelligence DRI today, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman congratulated DRI and its officers on their performance and commendable service, especially during the COVID pandemic. She inaugurated DRI's 64th Founding Day celebrations at New Delhi. Ms. Sitharaman unveiled Smuggling in India Report 2020-21. The President, Vice President and Prime Minister have greeted all Navy personnel, veterans and their families on Navy Day today. In a tweet, President Ramnath Kovind said, besides safeguarding maritime security and protecting our interests in the sea, our Navy also played a stellar role in coping with the COVID-19 related crises. In a tweet, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said the nation is proud of Indian Navy's stellar role in safeguarding India's national interests, maritime security and territorial integrity. In a tweet, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, "Our Navy is widely respected for its professionalism and outstanding courage."
President Ramnath Kovind paid floral tributes to former President R. Venkataraman on his birth anniversary at Rashtrapati Bhavan today. The President and officials of Rashtrapati Bhavan paid respects in front of his portrait. To commemorate the occasion as a Jal Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in Morning News since 16th August and will continue till 15th August 2022. Celebrate 75 years of India's independence by participating in Amrit Mahotsav quiz with AIR News.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewellery. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak Jago. And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
Adivasine surveer hot tointu mamore gorib mansone bhagwan tointu mamore.
In today's episode, we remember the great freedom fighter and Indian Robin Hood, Tantia Bhil, who was martyred on the 4th of December 1889. Tantia Bhil waged an armed struggle against the British rule for 12 years and endeared himself to the masses by virtue of his indomitable courage and passion to uproot the foreign rule.
Tantia was born in village Badada in Khandwa district of Madhya Pradesh. He wanted to teach a lesson to the British and to realize the dream of an equitable society. He was fired with a passion to free India from British subjugation and was caught many times, but also broke jail many times. He was a great shooter and skillful in guerrilla warfare. Dawa or Falya was his main weapon, and later he also learned to handle guns.
Right from his young age, he lived in dense forests, valleys, ravines and mountains all his life, measuring swords with the British and Holkar states' armies.
Tantia used to plunder the government treasuries of the British government and wealth of their supporters to distribute it among the poor and needy. He was popularly called Mama by the people of all age groups.
Tantia was lured to a parley by an officer of the Indore army who promised him a pardon, but was ambushed and taken to Jabalpur, where he was tried and hanged on the 4th of December 1889. We salute this Indian patriot.
Today we also remember freedom fighter and the 8th President of the Indian Republic, Ramaswamy Venkataraman, who was born on the 4th of December 1904. A true nationalist, a firm believer in secularism, democracy and Gandhian principle of non-violence, Venkataraman was also a humanitarian to the core.
Venkataraman was born in Rajamaram village in Pattakottai near Tanjavur district in the Madras Presidency and qualified in law from the Law College, Madras.
While practicing law, Venkataraman was drawn into the movement for India's freedom from Britain's colonial subjugation. He participated actively in the Quit India movement of 1942, for which he was sent to jail for 2 years.
In 1946, when the transfer of power from British to Indian hands was imminent, the government of India included him in the panel of lawyers to be sent to Malaya and Singapore to defend Indian nationals charged with the offences of collaboration during the Japanese occupation. Later, he was also elected to the Constituent Assembly. Venkataraman was elected to the Lok Sabha 4 times and served as the Union Finance Minister and Defence Minister.
In 1984, he was elected as the 7th Vice President of India, and in 1987, he became the 8th President of India and served from 1987 to 1992.
The dignity of the nation and the individual rest in no small measure upon a strong and vibrant democratic institution. These in turn are closely linked with certain sound and lasting values in our public life. My government will fight those trends which have in recent years sapped our democratic institutions of their vitality and strength.
He remained committed to the cause of public welfare till his death on the 27th of January 2009. We salute this great Indian nationalist.
We also remember martyr Firangoji Shinde, who died on the 4th of December 1857. Born in Girgaon village of Kolhapur district, Maharashtra, to Baji Shinde, Firangoji was a farmer who participated in the attack on the British Army camp in Kolhapur Palace after the arrest of Maharaja Chima Sahib of Kolhapur in December 1857. He was killed in the fighting on December the 4th, 1857. AIR pays tributes to the martyr.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
On to sports now. In the second and final cricket test match between India and New Zealand in Mumbai, the visitors were 31 for 5 wickets when reports last came in. Earlier, India were all out for 325 in their first innings on the second day today. Mayank Agarwal's magnificent century was the highlight of the Indian innings. He went on to contribute 150 runs, while Ejaz Patel took all 10 wickets for the visitors. In the ongoing BWF World Tour Badminton Finals in Bali, 2-time Olympic medalist PV Sindhu is playing Japan's Akane Yamaguchi in the women's singles semi-final match today. Meanwhile, in the men's singles, India's Lakshya Sen got a walkover for the next round with Danish player Rasmus Gemk. Sen will now play Olympic champion, another Danish player Victor Axelsen today. The FIH Men's Hockey Junior World Cup, being held in Bhubaneswar, Orissa, is approaching the grand finale tomorrow when Argentina and Germany will be fighting in the final. Hosts and defending champions India will fight it out for the bronze medal when they take on France on the same day.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates and lays foundation stone for multiple projects worth around 18,000 crore rupees in Dehradun. President Ramnath Kovind addresses centenary celebration of Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, says the committee upholds prudence, wisdom and propriety in parliamentary system. Home Minister Amit Shah to meet BSF personnel and review the security situation in Rajasthan. Government aims to achieve defence export target of 35,000 crore rupees by 2024-25, says Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. India-Russia joint venture set to give a big boost to self-reliance in defence, manufacturing of over 5 lakh AK-203 rifles to start at Amethi in Uttar Pradesh. Over 126 crore 53 lakh doses of COVID vaccines administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 98.35%. In cricket, India were bowled out for 325 in their first innings against New Zealand in the Mumbai Test match. In BWF World Tour Badminton Finals, PV Sindhu is playing Japan's Akane Yamaguchi in the women's singles semi-final match. In men's singles, India's Lakshya Sen to play Danish player Victor Axelsen in a round match. In FIH Hockey Men's Junior World Cup, Germany to face Argentina in Sunday's final, while India take on France for bronze medal in Bhubaneswar. And with that, we end the midday news.